Hey, what's up guys? It's YK here, and today we'll be going through the questions you have asked for the last two posts here, and let's get it. When did you start photography? I started photography about 6 years back when I had an iPhone 4 with me, and then I used that phone for about 3 years, and after that got my first camera through part-time working, the Canon 6D, and I've sold it to my friend recently. Then after having that, I got into my second camera, which is the 1DX Mark II. So it all started actually when I was doing part-time job for my uncle, and then through delivering stuffs, that was when Instagram just started back then. I was scrolling through the images and realized that people are taking really nice photos with the mobile devices, and with the iPhone I had back then, I tried and got hooked onto it. What lenses do you use the most? So I have about 4 or 5 lenses with me, and the most amount of times I use, and also one lens that I would bring everywhere, would be the 24 to 70 lens, and followed by the 16 to 35 millimeter for wide angle, and then I have a 70-200 for very zoomed in shots, and then I have the super ultra wide 15 millimeter 2.8 old school. It's already discontinued, but it's a really good lens. What's your main gear for street pictures? The main body that I use is the 1DX Mark II and also the 5D Mark IV. I like to use the 1DX Mark II for streets because it has very high frame rate. I usually pair it with the 35 1.4 or the 24-70, and occasionally I equip the 70 to 200 to do really fast shots, but it's really heavy, so most of the times I don't bring it. How many hours do you wander the streets? So it actually varies from as quick as 20 minutes to 6 hours. It really depends on my mood and also vibe I get from the streets. Sometimes I nail the shot and I know that I have it within less than 20 pictures, whereas sometimes I'm on those days where I'm extra patient. I wait for a really long time before I get the perfect shot. How do you approach people on the streets so that you can have a portrait of them, and do you ask for their approval before posting them on social media? So this is actually a super good question. It's actually really important. You don't want to be very intimidating. You don't want to communicate in a way where your body language is rude to them. Strongly urge you guys, when shooting street portraits, take a few steps back and look at the subject you want to shoot. Take a few minutes and observe them from a distance, see if they are intimidating. For me, I would prefer to shoot something that's really authentic, so that's not posed. And if I engage eye contact with them, I'll give a smile and go towards them and ask them like, hey, do you want a photo looking at the camera? And you'll be surprised, it's really different for a subject that's non-posed and also posed. It's a huge difference. How do you take photos of random strangers without having them knowing that you're taking them? A few tricks that I usually use when taking street photos: putting the camera like really close to your body, and then just pretend that you're hugging it. You need to know where your shutter button is, and then just quietly snap away while hugging the camera. Another trick is also to pretend that you are on a phone call. So just act busy, pretend that you are really engaging in the conversation on the phone, and that will overpower the camera that you have. Quickly shoot some shots and get out of the frame. When you're taking a photo, do you think about how you will edit later? Does knowing you can edit your photos affect how you take the photo? That's a really great question. So when I take a photo, I have really quick like checkbox in my mind before I take the photo. First of all is lighting, because lighting is everything. So you have to make sure that the lighting is there, depending on your personal preferences. Second of all is the subject, if it's really engaging or not. It can be anything. It can be ranging from like human portraits to wildlife to architecture, to food, anything. So it really depends if it stands out to you. So that's second most important thing. How do you know when you're happy with a photo you have taken and edited? To be honest, I got no formula for you. I just think that you know it sometimes when you have nailed the composition or have the right emotion in your photo. It's like a checklist you have in your head that you tick off, and once you tick all of that, you naturally lean towards looking at that picture again, and it will strike you that, hey, I really like that picture, I think I got it. So yeah, how do you export photos for Instagram? This is a really technical question, so let me show you on my laptop. So usually after I'm done editing my photos on Lightroom, I will hit File and Export, and you'll see this export file, locations and resolution. So the first thing that I'm going to do is pick the folder that I'm going to export, which in this case, for example, I will use the desktop, and also the file naming, I leave it blank. And this is the most important part, the file settings. You have to ensure that the quality is 100 in JPEG format, and I have color space sRGB with no file size limit, so it doesn't compress. And then for image sizing, I have my resolution at 300 ppi. Usually people do 72 ppi, but I put it at 300 just to push up a little bit to ensure that there's really no room for compression whatsoever, and it will still look really sharp on Instagram. And then watermarking is up to you, and post-processing I like to put after export to show in the Finder, so I can immediately share my photos to my phone. So I hit export, and once it's here, I usually share my photos via AirDrop, so it's the easiest and it has lossless compression. You can also use Google Drive or Dropbox to ensure there's no image quality loss. How do you organize your folders for your photos, by event or by genre? So how do I organize my photos is I organize by every time I go for something, and also depending on different types of day and time. So for example, I can go out today and tomorrow for the same place, but I have two different folders. So let me show you on the screen as well. So I have this folder just for explanation purposes on how I organize my files. So I organize them by one huge folder, and there are subfolders inside. So an example would be I am going out on 3 different days of the same location. I will create 3 different separate folders. So for example, day 1, I will put all my raw images inside, and subsequently the same for day 2, day 3, and so on. So for the Lightroom catalog, I usually like to hit the file, new catalog, and I like to create under the folder, the big folder. So I will name it SG 2020 just for easy name purposes, and then the file will be under here, and the new catalog will pop up here. And then you just need to hit your window finder and go to day 1 and drag your images inside, and your catalog will be updated. So the reason why I have the catalog on the same folder as under the big folder SG 2020 is because when you want to transfer all these files and details, the catalog will be under this big folder. So you can just click on this folder and you can just click on copy, and you can just paste it on your other storage device that you are moving to. If photography didn't work out, what would you have been? I studied aerospace when I was in Polytechnic, so I would be an aerospace engineer. I still have passion for flying, but unfortunately my passion for flying went down and my passion for photography went up. So yeah. Tips for turning photography or videography into a full-time job. I see so many people that love it but always chooses it just to be a hobby because it's tough to have it as a career. Super good question, by the way. So I have this mindset before I did photography full-time, and I'm sure it'll help everyone out who's trying to do that as well. You know, when you first start out, you have to put in your 101%, because even though you might have limited amount of time, use all you've got, hone your skills, experiment, and make small little baby steps and set goals for yourself. Always put in the 101%, over deliver what you always want to achieve. And then another important thing is to treat your social media or whatever you're building like a brand and company, because having that mentality means it's serious business. So build your own profile seriously, make it a solid portfolio so that when you approach future possible clients, you seem very professional and they'll take you seriously as well. What do you like most about your job, and what do you like the least? There's so many things I can say about what I like and what I don't like, but I think the number one thing that I like about photography is that I can use that and convey whatever I want, and that is the most important for me, because I am an introvert. I don't really know how to convey my emotions sometimes, and sometimes I rather let the visual speak for itself. And what do you like about photography the least? Probably is sometimes I have to, actually most of the times when I go for a job, I have to meet someone new, so that really drains my energy. It takes a lot of time to build up skill set to talk with people and to engage properly with people, and I'm still learning that, but that's really tiring for me for now. I may like it in the future, but for now it's I'm still learning and I'm looking forward to it every time, but at the same time it always bugs me that I have to do that. So yeah. What's your favorite breakfast place in Singapore? I don't really have favorite breakfast place, but I do have favorite food and environment to be at. I love coffee shops. I grew up like that. Every day morning I go down and have toast and egg, which is also my favorite breakfast, and with hot Milo or hot milk tea, and then just people watch. Sit down for 30 minutes, look at what the uncle and aunties are brewing, look into the details, and look at people passing by, ordering drinks, ordering food. You know, after doing that for a while, I slowly gear up for the day and proceed to do my things. What was the most memorable shoot you've had? The most memorable shoot I had would probably this year would be an ad that I did where I had to climb on top of the spire. It's crazy. For the mobile device, Macau Tower to be specific, I was really scared and the whole thing was shaking at the top, as you can see in the video, but nonetheless it's like super crazy memorable experience, and I'm so glad I did it. Although I have little fear of heights, but that shit scared the shit out of me. What's your favorite time of the day to shoot, and what's your favorite lighting condition to shoot in? So I used to love the time right after the sun sets, which is blue hour. I love it a lot and I still love it now, but recently I've been liking when the sun is out and soft, a little bit overcast, and also right before the sunset, which is the golden hour. Is photographing Eastern and Western culture different? That is a really good question, and I don't have like a correct answer for that, but from my experience is that, damn, this is really hard. You know, I've not really went to the West as much as the East, so I'm a little biased in that. Eastern to me is very vibrant, and Western to me has a totally different color scheme, totally different light. So whatever you produce is really different. And I think the beauty of it all is that it's really amazing that no matter the East or West, there's story to tell everywhere. Out of all the places you have been to, which stayed with you the most? The thing is, I miss home even more when I travel a lot. The friendly faces and the people around me, the food. Home pulls my heart and soul back here in Singapore. So actually, home stays with me the most, no matter what. How do you overcome that sadness or depression when you started photography and everyone was just out there being big and you small and all? I feel really small, even now. Like, there's plenty of big fishes in the world, still a really small fish. But I always have this pyramid theory. I'm always climbing to the very top with everything I have, my skill set and whatever I have, and I learn every day and I climb step by step to the top. And then once you reach the top, you think you are the best, and then you look down on everyone and like, hey, they're like me when I was earlier in the stage of life. But then you look up and there's another set of pyramid and it's endless. You're always going up to the next level, and then you start from bottom up again, and then next level and next level. I'm always thinking that I'm super small and there's always someone better than me to look up to. And also sometimes things don't go your way, which happens super often. Take a step back, take a deep breath, approach it with baby steps, and approach it with a more light-hearted feeling, more refined way. And then look far and imagine you setting a goal for yourself. Put more positivity, put more light in it, and think of this huge path you're gonna be in. And also something that is really important that everyone should know, including me, I make the mistake a lot of times as well, is that not everything is instant. And especially with like social media, the internet and everything nowadays, we all seek for instant recognition, instant feedback, and instant almost everything. So everything is super fast paced. We are always yearning for a quicker result, but that actually makes us really sad and really anxious when we can't get that quick of a feedback and result. So have this mindset so that you will not think like, oh hey, I took this photo and it's not getting any engagement and I'm gonna quit. No, keep working towards it, hone your style and make a name for yourself by working hard, working smart, and you'll get there. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I know it's pretty long, but I really want to help the community out bit by bit. I start off with this question and answer thing, and then I'll do my best to see how I can help you guys as well. I'm learning from you guys as well every day, so that's amazing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Why is a building called building since it's already built?